Necromunda! This video is about Necromunda, the Underhive. As of the time of recording this, this is Dead Gamer. Necromunda Underhive is still on pre-order, has not yet come out. However, a lot of the way more important people on this planet have gotten their hands on it and are playing it already. And they're doing videos. I'm not going to mention any names because none of those companies need mentioning because they're big and mighty. So if you want to find them, you could just type in, Necromunda review, Necromunda whatever, Underworld, Undershade Spire, Necromunda Underhive. There you go. Not Underworld, it's Underhive. So that's interesting. I never thought of that. That's called Underworlds, and the other one's called Underhive. At least I think it is, or I just made that up, and I'm just totally full of crap. But I'm also gonna try not to cuss as much because I heard some rumor that they'll pull your video if you cuss on it, which is kind of weird, but maybe that's the case. I don't know. I'm just gonna try not to because there's people out there that don't appreciate it, and hey, that's your thing. That's cool, but I can't promise you 100%, but I will do my best. So, Necromunda Underhive. Watching these videos, some people like it, some people don't. Some people are kind of, not bagging on it, but they're bagging on it, where they're just like, hey, it's not Necromunda. And in all honesty, I'm just kind of like, well, yeah, it's not Necromunda because it's a board game, and I think the whole point of that board game is to get the models out. Like that whole Deathwatch Overkill thing, where it was the reintroduction of Genestealer cults. I mean, I don't even know. I have 8 or 9 copies of that game, and then I bought I don't know how many more on eBay, and I mean it was just ridiculous because I was just like, Genestealer cults are back. Hells yeah. And yeah, I just no intent to play that game ever. It's all for the Genestealer cults, and they're going into my Space Hulk game, and they're going into my Genestealer cult, my new new age 41st Millennium Genestealer cult army versus my old ass Rogue Trader ones, which I lost in the fire. Womp womp. But yeah, I mean, so I think people are given too much credit, maybe, to this game. Like they're putting too much. What's the word where there's too much expectation. I think people are putting too much expectation on the game, and I think that little booklet that's coming out also, that's $25 or something like that. I think that's the true treasure trove of what's really going on here. And they're like, Games Workshop's like, hey, we can make a $150 game. Because mind you, bear in mind that Shadow War Armageddon was basically Necromunda with some stuff. But it was basically Necromunda, and it had a ton of terrain, and it had orcs and scouts. And yeah, the orcs and the scouts were probably $30 sets a piece. And the new Necromunda gangs are $40 a set. You could have dropped off one of the pieces of terrain, from that current set and made the rule book bigger, which has, Shadow War Armageddon has all the full rules for basically Necromunda, and you could have included the $25 rule book, but then you'd be pitching a $155 game, right? Because right now it's $125 plus the $25, so it's a $150 game, and that's how much I think Deathwatch Overkill was, $150. So you would have had the full Necromunda, but they're doing a sort of a discount, I guess. They're saying, hey, well, let's cut the price down a little bit, make this little weird supplement book so we can sell that to people who really want to play Necromunda because they're going to buy it anyway. And that's our regular core box set now is $150, right? At least from what I can recall. And they're cutting a little bit of a deal, and they're giving you sort of a neutered version of the game. And yeah, you're playing it on basically enlarged Space Hulk tiles, and people are saying, oh, the Goliath are too strong, the Escher can't see far enough, da 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 da. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're playing it in Space Hulk tiles, Let's do, Escher versus Caldor, or pretty much Escher versus any other. I mean, Goliath, and then, well, it depends. I don't want to go on about all that, because I don't know what they're going to do with the game. But, I think the whole purpose of this game is to just get people, the hardcore people are going to instantly buy the whole thing. And the whole thing's going to be the $150 anyway. And you're going to have your Necromunda, and your people are going to pitch those tiles, which, by the way, if you want to get rid of your tiles, I will totally buy them, because I thought of a new idea, and I won't talk about it right now because I will do it later in another video once I have the tiles. But I will totally take your tiles, as long as they're not really crappy cardboard. If they're like nice, because I think the like the other two, the Horus Heresy games, who plays those, right? Nobody plays those games, the board games. I'm saying they all bought it for the $30K, the actual Horus Heresy game. They didn't buy it to play Horus Heresy, Burning of Prospero, or whatever, and Horus Heresy Betrayal at Calth. They bought it because they want to play $30K, or they want a bunch of Marines from back in the day in their current Marine army. So, I don't know. I think people are giving it just too much credit for being what it's intended to be, or they're actually not giving it enough credit, right? Is that what I'm trying to say? I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I think people are getting a little worked up about nothing. But that's fine. Hey, if you want to do your thing and feel that way, that's absolutely your place to feel. It's just interesting that this new game definitely will bring in new players. People are gonna, especially once you get that third gang, which is probably gonna come in the first couple of months, I'm sure. If not before the end of the year, but probably January, February. And then you get that new gang, and it comes with the rules to play in the current Underhive game, and that's gonna change it up tremendously, also. But I don't think the whole marketing thing behind it, I don't think, was to sell a new board game, and that's what they're going to call Necromunda. I think that book that they're selling on the side, combined with the game, because the game has apparently rules for like Necromunda Light, it's still got, like, the tiles aren't even, you're not even going like, oh, you move 4 tiles, you just still use inches, you still do line of sight. It just doesn't have like the jumping across chasm thing and all those other things. Chasm, however you want to say it. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It's kind of weird that I'm feeling this emotional about it, because I normally don't really care what other people think, but it just seems like there's a lot of negativity. But I think that the intent was to get new people massaged into it, because Necromunda is a heavy game. I mean, it's, in all honesty, it made Second Ed look like, Second Ed was, I don't know if you guys that are listening played it. If some of you have, you know what I'm talking about. If some of you haven't, then you're a lucky human being, because we've wasted hundreds of thousands of hours playing 1,000-point games. And yeah, that was, talk about, intricate. The old web pistol and all those other, the needle pistol and the conversion beamer. Remember that guy? Yeah, that happened. And yeah, so anyway, Third Ed just kind of cut so much fat, like unnecessary. And what's really nice, at the time I hated it. I was like, oh, I'm going to stick to second edition forever. And, so I bought a bunch of stuff, and, bought all the codexes that I didn't have, and I was just kind of sticking to my guns with second ed. And then I realized that third ed was just so much faster. And, the idea is to just push your little toys across the battlefield and blow stuff up and have, and be blown up, and it really, it dumbed it down to an undesirable degree, but it also made it so much faster that it made it funner. So it was kind of like a wash, but in grand scheme of things, it was more enjoyable because you can get more games in, you can play more people. You made more headway with with games. So, and then 8th edition came out, and when the Gene Stealer cult came out, especially, I mean, I didn't really follow the other armies. I didn't even touch Warhammer 40k for years. I still collected the stuff as it came out because I was like, I'm just gonna table this, and I was working a lot, but I was just like, I'm just gonna table all this stuff until I have time in my personal life to actually do it, and whatever edition's out, I'll probably end up playing that. But when the Gene Stealer cult came out, I bought that stuff, I bought the rule book, and I bought their codex, and I realized that they were bringing back a lot of the weapons, because there was a point where, like, auto pistols, last pistols, any pistol was basically a pistol kind of thing. I think auto and last were rolled into one, and it was like, no, auto guns are different than last guns. I'm sorry, but they are. I think bolt guns or bolt pistols were different, but, they kind of just simplified it so much, and I was just kind of like, But now they're bringing it back, and now, with the new edition of 40k, it's like we're going back to the days, but it took them 20 years to iron out all the crap that's not needed, and yeah, which is pretty awesome. So, but I totally went on a tangent. That's why I made this video, because I wasn't going to do that, because the other video I made, I started going on a tangent, and I was like, oh, I'll make a video about that. So then I stopped going on that tangent. But now I'm on another tangent, so I'll stop. So Necromunda, the Underworld, Underhive, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it's called, because it's not out yet. Be excited about it. Don't be a Debbie Downer, I'm sorry if your name's Debbie. Don't be a Dan Downer, and I'm sorry if your name's Dan. But, I just, I think its intent and its purpose is to get new people involved in it simpler, because Necromunda, in its all-out trueness, is a very, very elaborate and very long game. If you ever play multiple, especially if you play multiple people, like a 3 or 4 or 5 person battle, I mean, we're talking a long time. That game can go on and on, because you just keep knocking fools down, and then they just keep standing up again. It's just like, when is this going to end? If you don't play turns, and if you don't play points, and I don't know. I guess obviously you could design a game mechanic that will make the game end, but maybe we've just always made it too complicated. But yeah, it sucks up a lot of time, and there's a lot. You got to know your army or your gang, because if you don't, you're going to be looking at that rule book more than you're going to be playing, and that's not going to be fun. And I think this new version is designed to just blow some faces off, get you in closer quarters to where you can't run as much. And maybe that was a bad move on their half. But see, I haven't even played the game, so I don't know. But maybe it was a bad move on their behalf that they actually did Escher and Goliath, because they're 2 entirely different warbands. Maybe if they did something closer to the level, then some Vansar and some Escher would be awesome, because then you've got Vansar, who's, they've got a little more armor, but they've got some good guns, and yeah, I don't know. It just things to think about. So anyway, thanks for listening again. I know, look at this, I'm putting out 3 videos in one night. That's crazy. So that's about it. That was my thoughts on Necromunda, the new version coming out very soon, within a week. It's going to be awesome, amazing. And if you don't want your tiles, send them to me. Just message me, and I'll send you my address and pay your postage. And maybe I'll give you something for it. I don't know. can't promise you anything, because what if like a ton of people want to send me the tiles and I don't need any more tiles? I just made a commitment, so I don't want to be a liar. We'll talk about it. Let's just say that. If you just want to get rid of them, you're going to throw them in the trash can, and I will just send you your postage and your gas to drive to the post office. I'll do that. There you go. That's fair, I think. Anyway, thanks, guys.